Hey guys, I'm here for another video. I'm sorry about the lighting. I know it's crap. But I realized I didn't make a video this week yet, so I wanted to make one now. And I don't really ever talk about this topic with people really, because it is very personal to me. And I don't really want to get backlash for talking about it, but I've seen a lot of people talking about this topic, so I just figured it was my time to share my story. So this video is going to be about how I deal with how I deal with my anxiety and depression. I have what's called, and I haven't been diagnosed this, but I feel like I do, and I've talked to my therapist about it, and I feel like I have situational and anxiety and depression, which, if you don't know what that is, it means you get anxiety and depression for certain situations. And there's things that trigger my depression and anxiety that I cannot talk about in this video, just because I don't have the people that I would need to ask permission from. I don't have their permission, and I don't really want to get their permission, so maybe at some point I will talk about that in another video, but I will not be talking about that in this video. Anyway, so I first got my depression. I'll start with depression. I first got depression when I had back surgery in 2010, and I had gotten a MRSA infection right after that, and I have a whole video on that, along with my first tattoo video. That's all in one video, and I will link that in the description bar if you want to go look at that. But I had back surgery to correct my scoliosis that I had had since I was born, and the surgery itself went fine, and then about a week after, or 2 weeks after the surgery, I had gotten an infection, and I dealt with that for 2 years, well, almost 2 years. It was like 11 months, I think, and during that time, and for about a year after that time, I was in a very, very dark place. I didn't really know if I would live or die, and I'm gonna try not to cry in this video, but it's a very hard topic to talk about, because I went through a lot. I was in such a dark place. I thought about killing myself. Not that I actually would act on it, but I thought to myself, wow, I would be so much better off if I weren't in this world anymore. And just because I was in so much pain, physically and mentally, and it was very, very scary. I didn't know if I was going to live or die, because the infection kept coming back, and my doctors couldn't figure out why, and they couldn't figure out IV antibiotics that would kill it, and so like every 7 months or so, not even, sometimes I would get sick again, and I would have to go back into the hospital. And I was in the hospital for like 3 to 4 months at a time, and it just was not a good time for me. I was crying all the time. I was so sad. I didn't recognize myself, and that was a very scary thing. I remember specifically a moment that was the first moment that I realized that something was wrong with me, like mentally, that I was in a very dark place. I remember I was home from the hospital at this specific time, and I couldn't sleep because I was in so much pain for my back, and my mom had come in my room to sit with me, and I remember I was crying, and I looked at my mom and I said, "Mom, I want to die," and she started crying, and I scared her so bad, and that's when I realized that something was wrong with me. I thought to myself, wow, you're really in a dark place. You've never thought that before. realized that something was wrong, and and then I went back into the hospital soon after that, and, sorry. Oh, okay. I went back into the hospital after that, and things just got worse. And I remember one day the social worker came into my room and said, "Do you want antidepressants?" And I just looked at her and I said, "No, I don't, because I think that once I get home I'll be better." Because I had been, like, previous times I was better after I got home. And and so that, I was crying, and it was such a dark time for me. I just couldn't believe what I was going through, and I couldn't believe how strong my family was being. And for me, they were strong for me, and I had the best nurses I could have ever asked for. They became my family. I love them so much, and I'm so appreciative of them. They would sit with me when they could, and they would talk to me, and they would listen to me cry, and they would try to comfort me in the best way they possibly could, and I can't even explain how much that meant to me. And then after I was better and I was released home, I think this was back in March of 2011, I think. I was home, and I was on IV medication, and I was on IV meds for like 4 months, and I got off of them December 27th of 2011, and I remember that whole year after that, I had such bad anxiety. Every time I got a pain, every time I moved, I would be hurting. Like, every time I would get a pain in my back, every time I felt like something moving in my back because nerves were going back, I started crying and screaming because I was so scared that I would get sick again. And it was so hard because I would tell my mom that I would be terrified that I was sick again, and she wouldn't understand that, she would always think that I was overreacting and that I needed to calm down, and that, I was fine, and, you don't need blood work every single time you get a pain, because I would want blood work when I would get pains, because I need to make sure that I was fine, because I knew blood work wouldn't lie. And it just sucks because she never understood, well, after a while she did, but at first she never understood why I was getting so upset, and she, and because, she understood what I went through from a parent's perspective, but what I went through being me was the worst time in my entire life, and I did not want to go through that again. I went through that 6 or 7 times in that year. Like, I went through it so many times, and it was such a hard thing to go through, and I didn't know if I would make it, and the fact that I did make it is something that I am forever grateful for. And and the fact that I was constantly reminded of what I went through and terrified that I would have to go through it again for that first year was something that I would never, ever want to experience again. But thankfully I went to a therapist at that time, who isn't my current therapist now, but I went to a therapist at one of my local hospitals, and she just helped me train my brain to think differently, and it helped a lot. It changed my thinking habits, and I've been fine about my back pretty much ever since. But another scary anxiety thing that happened to me was I got a pilonidal cyst, which is like a cyst right above your tailbone, and that's a very personal place to get a cyst and for me to talk about. But that was another really scary thing for me, because I didn't know what it was at first, and then it burst, and I thought maybe it had something to do with my back, and I found out about, when it burst, it was like it burst on like a Friday or something, and I didn't get to go to the doctor until Monday. So Friday, Saturday, or like from Saturday to Monday, I was freaking out. Or no, it was Sunday night when I flipped my shit. I was freaking out. I couldn't think straight. I was trying to turn off my anxiety and say, it's not your back, Emma, your back is completely fine, but it was like in that area that like was right under, or right under my incision for my back, like where my scar ends, or like it was like right on top of it, like the end of it. So I was terrified, and I kept looking it up, and then I couldn't stop crying because I was so terrified that I was going to have to go through what I went through 5 years ago, and I didn't want to do that. And I was trying to explain it to my mom, that that what I was feeling and what I was going through, and she told me that I was crazy and that I needed to calm down, and it just didn't help me at all. It only fueled my anxiety, because she thought I was crazy, and she didn't understand what I was going through, and she thought I was overreacting and that I was freaking out over nothing. But I just want to tell you guys that anxiety and depression are real things, and my anxiety and depression, they may not be all the time, they may only be situational, but they're real, and I wouldn't wish what I have gone through and what I know other people in my life have gone through on anyone. They are some of the worst things that you could go through as a person, and it sucks, guys. I'm being honest. It completely sucks, and yeah, it's been some of the most difficult times of my life, and oh yeah, I forgot to finish my story with my pilonel cyst. Lo and behold, I went to the doctor that Monday, and it wasn't my back, so I was fine. But that whole time, when I thought it possibly could be, was some of the worst anxiety I've ever gone through. I couldn't shut my mind off. My mind was racing. It felt like the room was spinning. I just couldn't control it. I couldn't stop it. I just couldn't stop crying. I was so terrified, and it just sucked. And to have people who don't understand it is just horrible. And that's why I wanted to make this video, because I see people making fun of, well, not making fun of, but taking anxiety and depression light all the time, and you just can't do that. It's serious. People die from depression. People die from anxiety. It's not funny. It's not a joke. You can't just get over something when you have depression or anxiety. People, we know with people who have anxiety and we know as people who have anxiety and depression, that some people have it so much worse than us, and all of that stuff. But we can't just get over something. It's not something we can snap our fingers, and get over. Anxiety and depression is real, and it's horrible. Those are two of the most horrible mental illnesses, and I'm just blessed that I don't have it all the time. But I know there are people in my life and all over the world that have clinical depression and clinical anxiety, and I can't even imagine what that day-to-day life is like. And and I only have it situationally, and it's really bad then. Sorry, my phone is going off. But, wow, this is a really long video. I'm sorry, guys. But I just needed to make this video, and I hope it helps some of you. And if you guys ever need someone to talk to, you can always tweet me, or, I'll maybe set up a private email for YouTube, and I will at some point I will link it in this video description when it's set up, so that you guys can email me if you ever need someone to talk to about anything. I will always be here for you. Thank you again for watching. I really appreciate it. If you're new and you're watching this, please subscribe. I love getting new subscribers. Oh, by the way, I just, when I came to record this video on my webcam, a thing popped up on YouTube saying that the webcam feature will be gone by January 16th, which is going to suck. And I will try to get a camera by that point, but I'm saving up money to go on a trip to LA for my 21st birthday in July, so I don't know when I'll be able to get a camera, because I need money for that trip. So I might be MIA for a little while because I won't have an option to record videos. Although I might record things on my phone, but recording things on my phone might be an issue because I'm not really good with recording videos on my phone, but I will do my best. If that's my only option, I of course will use it because I love making videos for you guys. I know I'm sorry that I haven't kept up to my schedule. The end of the semester is nearing, so I am concentrating on getting my projects done, and I have a portfolio that I need to start working on. So for the next week, I'm going to be crazy busy, and I probably will only be able to upload once. But after that, I will be off for a month, so I will be back to my normal 2 video a week schedule for that month, and then I start school back up on January 19th, so then my schedule will probably be back to once a week because I will be going to school 4 days a week, and then I will probably have to upload on a Friday because I will be busy with school. Anyway, wow, this video is 17 minutes long now, so I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching. Sorry, I got I got to be a bit of an emotional mess in this video, but this topic is very, very personal to me, and I think at some point I will make a video on those other topics that I can't talk about as of right now, but I know that they will be helpful to, my video will hopefully be helpful to other people, but for now, this is what you're going to get, and I will see you guys next week. And thank you so much to all of my subscribers. I love you all, and the viewers that are watching this that haven't subscribed, I love you so much. I love each and every one of you. I wouldn't be able to do this without you, even though I'm not really making money. I'm not making money at all from this, but at some point I probably will be. But I wouldn't be continuing to do this without all of you, because I know that all of you care and want to see more videos from me, even if I get discouraged. But yeah, enough of my rambling. I love every one of you so much, and I will see you next week. Alright, bye guys. Have a great weekend.